This is the heart of the technological repricing that's underway. AI isn't just another wave of innovation, it's a compression engine. It reduces margins, it disrupts industry, and accelerates competitive cycles to the point where every company, every product, every business model has a shorter half-life. The time value of innovation is collapsing, and when innovation collapses, capital has to find assets that don't collapse with it. That's why Bitcoin matters in this environment. Because as AI speeds everything up, you need a monetary anchor that doesn't accelerate with it. Something that isn't competing in the same arena as every other digital product or platform. Bitcoin doesn't shrink when AI grows. It doesn't lose market share to a better version of itself. It doesn't depend on margins or customer acquisition or technological edge. It's a protocol. It's fixed. It's incorruptible. And paradoxically, that makes Bitcoin the cleanest way to invest in the AI future. Not by betting on which companies will win, but by owning the one digital monetary system whose foundation mirrors AI's own foundation: energy. AI runs on compute. Compute runs on electricity, and electricity is priced, stored, and monetized more efficiently through Bitcoin than through any other financial instrument that came before it. As AI expands its footprint, the world needs a neutral, energy-based settlement layer. Something stable enough to coordinate economic activity across an increasingly unstable landscape. And nothing fits that role better than Bitcoin. If you want to see a deeper dive on Bitcoin as energy money, check out our last episode where Elon Musk and NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang weigh in on Bitcoin, money, and energy. But durability alone isn't the full story. Bitcoin doesn't just survive in an AI-driven world. It becomes the only digital asset with long-term defensibility. And that's where Jordy's most important insight comes in.
I believe that Bitcoin's greatest asset is time. And I have something I learned in my days of learning how to meditate, which was if you get caught in the moment, which is highly emotional, you forget how long the path is going to be. And that's why as a macro person, I try to grab myself and say, stop worrying about whether Bitcoin is 105 or 95. I know one thing, if it's at 130 in 3 months, no one's going to remember that it was at 95 and they're just going to be chasing it higher. So let's forget about that picture and let's start thinking about what will happen to all innovations. So I believe artificial intelligence will disrupt every single existing public company. And there will be no way to have a business that isn't outcompeted from artificial intelligence. Entrepreneurs will rise, private companies will rise, they'll never go public, the capital structure will change. And so what Bitcoin becomes in 15 years is the only thing on the planet as an idea that actually has a moat that's part of the digital economy. Everything else. So if you think of what happened to GameStop, well, it lost to this. Every idea that is an S&P 500 name was an idea at some point. It was an innovation. Mm-hmm. The lifespan of an S&P 500 company is shrinking every single year. So I believe all innovations in time will shrink. And what Bitcoin has and what it's immune to is time. Mm-hmm. It will always be here. And now that it's a $2 trillion asset, or was, and now it's slightly below, I think it has achieved moat status, and very few things in our lives have moats right now.
Now let's take a minute to unpack this profound insight. Because when Jordy says Bitcoin is the only asset with a moat, he's not talking about a Warren Buffett-style business advantage. He's talking about something much bigger, something structural. Every company, every product, every piece of software can be disrupted. AI accelerates this. It compresses innovation cycles. It shortens lifespans. The businesses and technologies that dominate today won't necessarily dominate tomorrow because they can be outcompeted, outcoded, or out-optimized by the next wave. But Bitcoin isn't a company. It isn't a product. It isn't an innovation that will one day be replaced by a better version of itself. Bitcoin is a protocol. It's a base layer. It's an idea that gains strength from surviving, not evolving. And that's the moat. While everything else in the digital economy gets faster, more fragile, and more dependent on constant reinvention, Bitcoin becomes more resilient, more distributed, and more deeply integrated into the financial system. It doesn't need to innovate to stay relevant. Its relevance comes from being the settlement layer the world keeps building around. And institutions understand this. Their fear isn't Bitcoin's volatility, their fear is being late. They fear missing the only monetary technology that gets stronger as AI disrupts everything else. They don't fear Bitcoin. They fear a future where they don't own enough of it.